Good morning. My name's Lorraine with Crafty Therapy by Elle. I'm going to be making a Deco mesh wreath this morning. I have an order for 2 soccer wreaths for my Etsy shop. So I just want to pull up the live. It says that I'm live. If you're on, say hello. Let me know that it's working before I get started. Okay, there we go. Silence it. As you come on, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. I am going to make a Deco mesh wreath, actually 2 of them. I've started it and then I said, let me come on and finish it. This is an order for a soccer wreath. I was just waiting for some supplies to come in and it finally came in so I can finish it up and ship it out today. And this one's a little bit short. I'm cutting these 20 inches. These actually might be extra pieces off the roll, so I'm going to hold these on the side. I have a little piece left, and I usually actually, even though that's small, that's actually enough to make a curl when I do my poofs and curls. That's actually a perfect little curl. So I hold this on the side. So I've got my pile here of Deco mesh, this tan Deco mesh. I use this a lot. It's a good neutral base, and they're all cut at 20 inches. That was 2 full rolls, and I'm going to be using a 14-inch frame that I've already put all of my twist ties on. I prefer to use the frames without the ties. That way I can space them out and put the number of ties that I prefer. I always do 6 in the middle. I don't always. I always do 6 in the middle, and I either do 6 on the outside for a thin wreath. This one's going to be a little bit bigger, so I put 12 on the outside. And if you go back on my channel, you'll find step-by-step videos on how I put together the wreath frame. So because I cut 2 at the same time just for speed, I'm just going to take one of them out. And this I'm going to be doing the cruffle method, they call it. So basically you're going to take one end and you're going to roll it on itself 2 or 3 times. I take a little clip and I put this here just to hold it back there. And I come onto the other side and I do 2 curls. And then I scrunch it all the way down the middle, so that I come out with a little sort of bow tie with 2 curls on the end. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to add it to my outside pipe cleaner. I prefer to do the outside first and then I'll move to the inside. That's just something that I've been doing from the beginning. That's probably how I saw someone make their wreath on one of their videos, and it's just stuck with me. I've tried doing the other way where it's inside and then it kind of just all gets snagged on each other, so I just do what works for me. Doesn't matter though if you work on the inside first. So I'm just twisting it in twice, and then I'm going around, and every one of the ties on the outside is going to have a cruffle. Woodland ruffle, do they call it? Or do they call it a cruffle? I think it's the same thing, but I'm actually not positive. So curl it 2 or 3 times on the end, flip it over, do the other side, and just do a ruffle down the middle. Pinch the middle, and now add it to the pipe cleaner. I don't think I've done this technique on a YouTube live before, but you can go check out my other videos. There's a video area and then there's also the live area, and I have lots of bow making videos. I have lots of other wreath making videos and different techniques, so you can check those out. I don't always do the same technique. It's kind of whatever I'm feeling for the day. This is one that I tend to go to a lot, though. I like this technique. Excuse the dog outside. That must be the delivery man across the street. She likes to say hello to everyone, whether it's at her house or not. So again, all the way around. This takes a little bit longer than just doing the plain old ruffle, but you can also see that you're getting a bigger wreath. Generally, when I'm doing this technique, they're not going to fit in between the storm doors. So just 2 or 3 times and right down the middle. If you have any questions, let me know. This morning I've already been to the post office. I shipped out a bunch of bows. And what else was in there? Bows, and I think it was, I can't even remember. I made it on Saturday. I think it was a St. Patrick's Day wreath. Normally I wait till the end of the day to do all my shipping, but I was going to be right over there because I needed to pick up this Deco mesh. This came from Hobby Lobby. Luckily it was on sale this week because I was completely out. They used to do it every other week where it would be on sale 50% off. Now it's like every 2 or 3 weeks and it's only 40% off. And their prices have gone up like everything else, right? But it is what it is. As long as I can get my supplies locally and ship out quickly. I don't use too much of the supplies from the local craft stores. This is an okay quality. This is this isn't bad, especially when you're using this technique. But some of the local craft stores have very thin mesh. They're also going down to, instead of giving the full 10 yards, they're now doing 18 feet, which requires you to buy 2 rolls just to finish a wreath. So something to keep in mind when you're shopping. A nice quiet morning here. All my kids are in school, my husband's at work. So it's just me and the dogs filling orders. I love Mondays for that reason. And this is going to have a custom sign. It's a soccer wreath. It's going to have a custom sign that I still need to make. I use my Cricut and I make some of my own signs, not all of them, but this is one that I do make. I couldn't find signs, soccer signs, when I first started making this wreath. Probably, maybe this might be my 3rd year selling this wreath. So I had to come up with my own sign. Some of the sports are very hard to find supplies for. Volleyball, hockey, very hard to find signs. So it's nice to have an option to make my own. So all of these were cut at 20 inches, and I'm doing I think this is called the woodland ruffle, now that I'm thinking about it. Just going all the way around, putting them right next to each other. It's really filling in nicely. This is a nice neutral base. You can really do so much with this. I use this a lot for farmhouse wreaths, farmhouse style. I don't see comments coming up, so if you're saying anything, I seem to have a delay, or people don't start chatting until later in the videos. But if you have left any kind of comments, I will definitely go back and answer any questions that you leave. But let me know if you're a wreath maker, if you make wreaths, if you sell wreaths, if you just do it for fun, if you just like learning a new craft. I started about 6.5 years ago making, it was during Halloween, and I had seen something come up and I said, oh, that's really cute, I want to make one. It was a witch hat. So I ended up making one for myself and a couple for my son's teachers. And I posted it on Facebook, and then people were interested in buying the witch hats. So it kind of just blossomed from there. Then I eventually got a Cricut and started doing personalized gifts. So here we have the completed wreath. It's nice and full. Just it looks see-through because of the door that's in the back, but when you put this on the door, it's actually really pretty. The base is a pretty solid base. And now we're gonna bring in this design. I only use 2 ribbons. So I have a 2.5 inch ribbon, the soccer ribbon, and a 1.5 inch ribbon. Normally I do 2 2.5 inch ribbons and 2 1.5 inch ribbons, but for this one I wanted to really emphasize the soccer ball. So I have cut the soccer ball at 13 inches and the polka dot at 12 inches. That is just a personal preference of mine. So I line it up, make sure that my tails are even. I kind of smooth it out, and I add it into the outside pipe cleaner, doesn't matter which one, and I twist it 2 or 3 times, and I like to go ahead and spread my ribbons as I'm going. I give them a little twist, and I spread it so that you can see all of the pattern. I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to go to this one. Now, had I been using another pattern of ribbons, so this would be pattern A, this would be pattern B, and then I would rotate that all the way around. Again, personal preference. For whatever reason, this is how I did this one. And like I say, it's a soccer wreath, so I wanted to really focus on the soccer ball. So isn't that cute? And I'm going to do that all the way around, skipping 1. I find because there's 12 on the outside, if I had put 12 sets of these ribbons, it becomes too congested and overwhelming for the wreath. So that's why I like to skip every other one. Now sometimes I'll go back and I'll put some Deco tubing, which I just happen to have a piece laying on the floor. This is Deco tubing. And I would do that. And I might add it into that one in between, just to give it a little extra something. Yes, they are definitely time consuming. You really have to add in your cost of your time and your supplies, and generally it's about 2 to 3 times is like the formula that people generally use. The cost of supplies. You know, when you're starting out, you more towards that 2 times the supplies. So pinching the middle, skipping this one and adding it in. So when I first made this wreath, it was actually the complete opposite. This would be the black dot ribbon, polka dot ribbon was my 2.5, and then I had a soccer one for the 1.5 inch, and I can no longer get that. They must have discontinued it. So I was able to find this ribbon, and I think it's going to give it even more of an impact. So I think I'm going to like it even better. So just spreading out my ribbons as I go so that you can see all the pattern. Some people leave them stacked on top of each other, and that's fine too if that's the way you like it. I just find that I chose the ribbons for a certain reason so that you can really see all of the design on it. So I prefer to spread them out, and it really fills out the wreath. So I'm in the middle now, and I'm going to finish up the middle, and then I can go back, and I'm not going to add anything to these pipe cleaners, so I will just trim them off. Yeah, you have to just see what you're comfortable and what sells in your area. Some areas of the country, it seems that they sell better than others, so you have to know where your target audience is and what they're willing to pay. I sell locally and on Facebook, and I also, the majority of my sales come from Etsy at this point. And I ship all over the United States. So you can see once you get going, it can go pretty fast. The more intricate and the more embellishments I add to a wreath, obviously that will take much more time. Ooh, the sun is coming out. We had a crummy Saturday here in New York, very rainy and yucky, and then yesterday was just beautiful. Perfect spring day for us. And the sun is back out, although I thought it was supposed to rain today, so I don't know what it's doing. We started our garden. We were able to wash and vacuum the cars, which was nice. Okay, so I have, that's complete. Isn't that pretty? That's such a fun wreath. Now in the middle is going to have a sign that says, what does it say? Soccer, don't go through life without goals. So I still have to make that. This is a sign. It's going to be painted, and it's going to be painted black. And then I will put the image on there. So the last thing I want to do for this is I just want to trim off all of the pipe cleaners. So I'm just going just a little bit above, maybe like a half an inch above the the last twist of the pipe cleaner. And I'm snipping them off and I'm folding them over just to give it that finished look. And I also don't want my customers getting scratched because the end of these can be pointy. So I will include a note in my packaging on how to fluff out the wreath. Sometimes during shipping it gets a little bit, you know, the ribbons can get a little bit messed up. Generally not too much. I use the proper size box so there's not much shifting around. So the box will have a note with that, and it will also link it to one of my YouTube videos that I made just for my Etsy customers. Not just for after shipping, but you know, after you store them from year to year. If you're storing them properly, you really should have at least my wreaths for a couple of years. And I always suggest to store it in the box it came in. That way it's safe. Or you can put it in a clear leaf size bag, so those oversized bags that you would collect leaves in, and you can take a hanger and you put it right through, like a clothes hanger right here from the top, and you can just hang it in the closet. You can hang it on a nail in the garage on the wall, so it's up and out of the way, up towards the top. I have a PVC, I have two brackets that were from the shelving area in Home Depot and a PVC bar, and I hang all of my wreaths right there, and that's at the very top of our garage, so it's up and it's out of the way. Everything's in one of those large bags so it stays clean. Nothing's crushing it, nothing's staying on, nothing's leaning on top of it. So I can use my wreaths, my seasonal wreaths, for many years. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. This is one of two. I'm going to be making the second one after I paint up my sign so that they could start drying. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions, leave it down below. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe and go to the live area as well as the video area, and you'll see all different videos, how-to videos. If you're interested in seeing more of my work or purchasing a wreath or a bow or any personalized gifts, you can check out my Etsy shop at craftytherapybyl.etsy.com, and I will see you soon. I plan to come back on probably on Wednesday around the same time. I hope you have a great week. Bye.